You can hear
Okay.
us?
Yep.
All right. So this is an interview for our sports manager. Oh, we are recording, so we kind of have to do a little bit of like an intro here and give like our name. So this is our me, Tymir, and Latrell's sports management project for our YouTube interview. And our name for our channel and talk show is All the Talk, All the Sports. And today we are here with Alex Yo, the Vice President of Basketball Operations for the Delaware Bluecoats, who is the 76ers G League affiliate. And today we are going to have 10 questions to ask him. And thank you, Alex, for joining us.
Thanks, guys. Glad to be here and looking forward to speaking with you.
Yeah, thank you. So we're gonna start with our first question here today, and I'm gonna ask you, what do you do, and what is a normal day at work for you, especially in the off season?
Well, the off season is a different pace for sure. It's what most people don't realize is that you kind of prepare for the whole season during the off season. So all the relationships you have with the team from roster building all the way to the concession stand really comes to fruition during the off season. So you're spending all summer building into your product, which is your season, and getting ready in that countdown to tip off type of format. And that goes for our sponsors, the businesses that support our team, and how we activate them. We do a lot of community work in the off season. We've done 152 events since April, which is intended to keep us relevant during the off months. We can't rely on 24 home games as the only thing that we got going on, because it's just against the calendar year, that's not enough. So we try to be active and go where people are as often as possible. And that really lives in the off season. And it really quickly becomes in season mode because everything that happens behind the scenes in sports has to be ready for the first time you open the stadium doors. And like I said, everything goes into that, from how you're pricing your hot dogs all the way down to your plans for when someone spills a soda, to what you're going to do in the parking lot, and everything inside, game presentation, what music we're choosing, our in between quarter breaks. How are we entertaining? What's the halftime show look like? And we have a script to fill every single night, and that doesn't happen on a day by day basis. That happens with lots of planning leading into the season. So off season becomes in season quickly, and the pace shifts from kind of a normal day for most purposes to like all over the place, late nights, weekends, just dependent on your game schedule.
Right. Yes. What's up, Alex? I'm Latrell. Our next question is, what college degrees do you have, and how do they play a role in your job now?
Right. So I went to Emerson College in Boston. I played D3 college basketball there, and it was one of probably the most important experience that I've had. At a small D3 basketball program, you kind of have to scrap it together and do things that D1 players I really have to do. I had to drive the bus, I had to drive the van with the head coach and the assistant coaches. Everyone piled in vans, and I did the laundry for the team, even though I was the team captain my senior year. We rotated that role, and I think it just built kind of like a work hard mindset that lends itself to me every day here. What I do now. So I got a broadcast degree from Emerson. Didn't spend a whole lot of time in broadcasting. I did, I think, 14 innings for the single A Pittsburgh Pirates team, the Bradenton Marauders, and Florida, and that was really the last time I broadcast the game. That was 15 years ago, and kind of morphed it into communication roles. It bounced around a bit. I worked at Marquette University. I was a grad assistant coach, and that D1 experience meant just as much as the D3 experience, although in a different role. And while I was there, I got a master's degree in sports management. That's kind of part of my um, role there. That was included, which was nice. That degree has allowed me to teach. I teach college courses now, in addition to my role with the Sixers and Bluecoats. And that's kind of been a nice kind of side blessing for me. And without that master's degree, I wouldn't be able to do that. So the journalism degree, it serves me well as a good communicator, hopefully now, even though I'm not writing and broadcasting in my day to day. And then that sports management master's degree kind of just wasn't necessary. I certainly didn't need it to. I don't think anyone needs it to advance their sports career. But when you have it, it's a sure benefit.
Awesome.
How you doing? I'm Tymir. I got a question. Did you have any prior job experience in the world of sports before starting the Blue Coats?
Yep. So I when I was in college, I did a lot of little things. I did everything from broadcasting and working the other sports that weren't men's basketball. So I was the PA announcer for the volleyball and women's basketball team. I did play-by-play for the baseball team. And then I kept stats for lacrosse and soccer. And you need those little things when you get started to gain some experience because we're young and we don't have jobs yet. So I wrote for the paper. I had a podcast, or I had a radio show, and we worked for the news at the college too. And that kind of gave me that taste of everything that I was able to apply for a job with the Pirates. I worked there for 2 years in marketing it and game ops and promotions and all that good stuff. Had a great time and learned that minor league creativity mindset where you're putting things together and really trying to entertain outside of just what's happening on the field. I think that was really formative for me. During that time, I spent a couple of summers with the Reading Phillies. I was a camera operator, which was a little job at the time, but man, the first time you get a paycheck that has a sports logo on it, that's pretty cool. That's something I always kind of think back to. And then from there, I worked at Marquette a couple of years and was a grad assistant and did a lot of the on-court stuff and practice and all that. But I did a lot of work with the recruiting folks and the Office of Communication and social media at the same time. So that all kind of lent itself to gaining some experience to actually apply for a job I wanted. And I ended up being hired by the Sixers almost 10 years ago now as the PR coordinator for the Sixers, and did that for a few years and set up media opportunities and dealt with our broadcasters, beat writers, anything that surrounded the team in that space. It was my responsibility for the Sixers for like 2.5, 3 years, and then got the opportunity to work on, at the time, it was a new initiative to elevate the G League program in Delaware. So I've been on the Delaware project for this is my 8th season in this current role. And it all kind of is built towards that for all intents and purposes. It didn't always feel like a straight line, but it all kind of contributed to making me feel comfortable in the role I have now.
Awesome. What do you think are the most important skills to possess when working in sports, and especially like business, more the business side?
Well, it has to be number one, a willingness. I think that you have to separate yourself from being a fan a little bit. I think I hear a lot of applicants for internships and entry level jobs that say, I'm such a big fan of the Sixers, or I'm always loved basketball. We're not players anymore, so that's not really what we do anymore. And I think if you can showcase a skill or an experience or something that's actually going to contribute to advancing our business, that's where the focus should be. And I think, like, you guys are athletes, I was an athlete. That's hard at first because we're thinking like, I love basketball, I want to work in basketball. I have very little to do with actual basketball. Like, I can't even run up and down the court anymore. So that's over. I have to hang my hat on my ability to find revenue opportunities that keep our business going and get fans in this field house and find opportunities for our team to be showcased on a nice platform that we get great attention. So that's my number one thing is using a passion for sure for sports to kind of fuel you, but you can't hang your hat on it and think that your fandom is a skill. Like, I've been a Sixers fan my whole life, but if I had not done those things at the Pirates or Marquette or the Reading Phillies or Emerson, I wouldn't have the experience to apply for a job with the Sixers just because I love the Sixers. Like, that's not a tangible attribute. So that's the number one thing in that transition from being like a raw fan to someone that has the skills to contribute.
Nice. So, what would a general game day look like for you?
It's a little wacky, a little wild. We have to get the arena ready. I mean, 90% of what is around a game the fans never see. So that goes from charging the ticket scanners and the metal detectors that you walk through. Like, someone's got to charge those. Someone's got to clean the court. Someone's got to test the clock feed and that our broadcast infrastructure is set up, and that the walkie-talkies have batteries. And this all sounds like small stuff, but if these things don't work, the game fails, right? We have to think about our checklists and our small things, and that at the same time we're also thinking big picture. Like, we have 4 hours till the doors open. What do we need to do? Is there a giveaway tonight? Is there a halftime act tonight that they need a locker room space to change? It's very much different game to game, but we're putting everything together so that the experience from when a fan parks their car, we start at that as the first point. Is that a good experience? All the way to when they leave a game. That's what we're constantly thinking about and what we're preparing for, so that when they walk in, they're ready to enjoy themselves. And it's a long way of saying it's a lot of things people don't see, but that they expect when they walk in is what we get ready for every game.
Awesome.
But it was true. All right. Do you have a lot, if any, connection with the players in the Blue Coats organization?
Yeah, we're a small team here. We all work together. We're all pointing towards the common goal of success. Blue Coats have been very successful the last 3 years. 3 straight trips to the finals. Showcase Cup in 2021, and we won the league championship this past year. So that's come with a lot of team effort to get us there. Like, that's an infrastructure you have to support. We work hand in hand with our general manager, Tymir Nelson, and his crew, and our head coach, Mike Longobardi, before him, Kobe Carl. And we're all kind of working together. Like, how are we going to measure success with our program? And that's from top to bottom, winning games and also creating a great experience. And you can't separate it because when you're in 2 different silos with 2 separate goals and not talking to each other, that's a recipe for conflict and surprises that we don't like and all that stuff that comes without working together. So we work very closely with our basketball staff and our players, and it shows, I think, that a lot of players return to Delaware, which is rare in the G League. We have a lot of players that have come back. We have one of our guards, Jared Brownridge, is entering his 7th season with the Bluecoats. Like, that's extremely rare that he wants to continue to come back here. We've had some great success that I think our players want to be part of the program, between Shake Milton years ago, Christian Wood even before him, who became an NBA player, and then Paul Reed, B-Ball Paul, was our league MVP and Rookie of the Year with the Bluecoats, and he's thriving with the Sixers of late. And then Jaden Springer is kind of like the next player to come up through and start contributing at the NBA level. So it's very tied together, and we have to work as one to create a program that's successful.
What is your balance between work and personal life like, just as within your job?
I wouldn't say it's non-traditional. I would say it's not. I don't get home at 5:30 and we have a family dinner at 6 o'clock every night. But some nights we do. But there's nights that I'm not home till 2 o'clock in the morning sometimes. I was at the Sixers game last night, and my family had dinner without me, and I got home at midnight. And tonight we're setting up an arena for our G League opener tomorrow, and I probably won't get home till 9 o'clock. And tomorrow we have a game, a championship celebration, a ring ceremony, a banner raising, and all that stuff. I'll probably get home the next morning late. So it just depends on the night or the day. I would say it's just non-traditional, but the off season is more closely aligned to a 9-to-5 job. But the winter time, the basketball season is a little bit unpredictable. But you kind of, with that comes some flexibility. Like, I don't have to be sitting at my desk at 9 o'clock every morning. Like, you just kind of handle things, which I like. I wouldn't like being a clock in, clock out type of role. It's just not suited for me. So being crazy at times is fine, because there's also plenty of benefit that goes with that.
Right. Awesome.
So how do you feel to experience and be a part of the Bluecoats' recent championship?
It's awesome. It really is. Like, I obviously was never on the court for any of it, but when you're part of something that you work very hard for, and when the spotlight is finally on your product and your people, that they all deserve it, I think that's pretty rewarding. Like, the chance to be on national TV and great media coverage of it and showing everyone else what we're doing, I think that's a proud thing. And you're happy for the players that deserve that spotlight, our coaches that deserve that spotlight. And then the people that you never see or you never hear of that are right now. I'm looking out at the court here. They're setting up for tomorrow. Like, they had a role in a championship season, which is really neat. And we're all kind of binded together for that, for as long as we'll be in this business. And when we're out of it, it's at some point we'll remember the group that won a ring together back in 2023. So that's a cool feeling, and something that means a lot at any level. Like, it's just a different stage. So we're very proud of it, and happy for everyone that got a chance to be part of it.
Aidan, what would you say is the most fun part about your job?
I'd say the moments when you think back on it, like when you're driving home from a game and you're like, whoa, I can't believe I got to do that. There's going back to my PR days, like submitting Allen Iverson's application for the Hall of Fame, like something you have to do, and someone asked me to do it. And it's like, you do it and you mail it, and then you go home and it's like, wait a second, I got to do that? Like, that doesn't make sense to the kid who used to watch Allen Iverson on TV. And I think those are the moments that when you're doing them, you don't really think. You just, it's kind of part of your job. But even last night, like I've been here long enough that I get some great tickets to Sixers games, and I got to take my dad to Sixers Celtics last night. It was an awesome game, and we won. And probably wouldn't get the chance to do that if this wasn't my job. And just those little like things that are peppered in, and that stick with you, that make the hard work worth it. That you get to be part of something that a lot of people envy. They want to be part of this, and you got to take it seriously that you're privileged to be in it.
Awesome. So last question here. What advice would you give a college student who's looking to work in the world of sports?
Do as much as you can while you're in college, because when you graduate, you have to get hired to get experience. So even when you think you don't have time, you do have time. I played D3 basketball, and I listed before all that stuff I did. It didn't mean I was a full-time member of the newspaper. I wrote articles when I could, and it didn't mean I was at every broadcast for the news station. I did the broadcast when I could, and I missed games as the PA announcer for the women's basketball team because I had games myself, but I did it when I could. And I think there's opportunity in college to get involved when you're able to get involved. And those are the little resume builders that you need early on, because your chances of getting a great first internship or a great first entry-level job increase tremendously if you have a full resume. If you have a full resume that you can present, you did all these things, you have a confidence and a background that most college students don't have. And then the second part I would say is start making real connections. So you've heard the term, it's all about who you know. Like, I hate that term because it's not about who Aidan knows. It's about who knows Aidan. Aidan could know 100 people, but if 3 people know Aidan's abilities and can make a phone call for him to get a job, that is gold. That's gold. So you got to invest in real relationships and not be so much worried about how many connections you have on LinkedIn and how many business cards you have. You need to have, like, I owe my career to 3 people. I know 3,000 people, whatever the number is. But the 3 people that know me and know what I can do, and have vouched for me over the years, that's what matters. So be concerned with investment of time and quality rather than quantity when you're networking. I think is my second piece for sure.
Awesome. Thank you so much for this. That was
You bet.
great to learn about a lot of these things that we're going over in class, and obviously being also being Division III basketball players in our freshman year, kind of just trying to get a glimpse into what we should do or what we need to do if we are trying to get into a similar role working for a sports organization.
Yeah, it's a different path for everyone. Mine is mine. My path is my path. But just always know that you don't have to have it figured out now. Have short-term goals with a long-term vision. I say, don't say like, I want to work here and this is where I want to work for. Like, be open to it, be flexible, and kind of see where your own path takes you.
Awesome. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
Hey.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.
Have a good one, Alex.
You too.